Leone Cinciella, what's up YouTube? Bless the essence for the essence blesses. Psychic trauma here, hashtag living the stream. Inbox. We're about to do our competency eval. Alrighty. Is there any audio? Alrighty. Oh, there we go. Is there mute that? Okay. Allow. Let's open up that. Ta-da. Oh, let's go turn down the oven. Hello? Yes, let me see if I can get my audio working properly. I can barely hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? I'm going to refresh my page. Alrighty, why is this not working? Okay. Choose account. Okay. Allow. Microphone is on. Ask to join. Up the volume. Volume is up 100%. Can you hear me now? Let me go. Why is none of this working? Alrighty, what about now? Allow. Can you hear me now? Wait. What about now?
What? Yep, there you are. Right. I was kind of scared you for a second.
Alrighty.
Okay. All right, you can hear me okay and everything?
Yes, I can. The volume's coming through the TV, so yeah.
Oh, well, that's fun for me.
Well, it's the only way I can do it, so if you can hear me.
No, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, it's easy on my end. Just let me know if anything's difficult on yours. It should be good. All right. How are you? How you been?
I'm doing all right. I broke my ankle on leap year of leap day, February 29th. I was in a boot for this 6 weeks. I was out of work for 2 months. I recently got back to work. I got food poisoning. I went to the ER twice. And I also wrecked on a scooter. The front wheel messed up, and the wheel guard came apart, got lodged in the wheel, and so I went over the front, and so I had to get x-rays on my rib. That has been hurting for a solid 2 weeks, but it's finally doing better. I was working out until I got sick and I hurt my rib, and then I really couldn't. Besides that, I'm back to work. I'm studying for the CompTIA Security Plus exam. And
what is that?
It is a cybersecurity certificate.
Okay.
I'm actually behind. I didn't study at all when my ankle was broke because I just couldn't pay attention.
Yeah, sure.
But now I'm on it. Doing that and
Nice.
doing what I can. I have physical therapy for my ankle, and I have about another month of that. And besides that, I'm doing okay.
Okay. Oh, that sounds good. I can relate a little bit. I dislocated my shoulder a few months ago. Yeah, it was not fun. a lot of physical therapy, can't really do. Yeah, I couldn't imagine studying when it was like making a lot of pain,
Yeah.
So I wish you speedy recovery with that one.
The ankle.
What are you doing? Well, actually, I should back up. I know we've met several times and you know all this, but I should still make a point of saying, again, this is for the court-ordered mental health, evaluations. Again, anything we talk about, it can go to a report, goes to your attorney, prosecutor, judge. So if you want to tell me something, just say you're not answer that. And of course, if you were to tell me today about any current intent to harm yourself or to harm others or ongoing abuse of vulnerable people, these are things that may be required to report to proper authorities.
I have no harms in harming myself or others, or vulnerable people. But at times I feel I'm a vulnerable person that people are trying to harm. But besides that, I'm getting back outside, doing what I can. I went into the river today just to soak in. Wanted to go swimming, but also at the same time, I didn't want to hang out there and stay too late and miss this. So I came back and ate some breakfast. My diet is still my sleeping, I'm getting back to normal. But 2 days ago, I worked, what do you call that? 17, 18 hours. But yeah, but we got 2 hours off for lunch. We had 2 lunches because we had to pull 17 hours straight. And then next morning later, I was there at 8 in the morning for, what do you call that? 10 hours. And then yesterday when I got off work at 7, I came home. I fell asleep at 8. I woke up at 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom. I checked the clock. And then I passed back out. And I woke up at 7. And I was so out, like actually 7:50 something, so 8 o'clock. And I just slept. And then this morning I tried going to a cybersecurity summit. I was registered. I had the invite, but my name wasn't on the list. And then some lady kind of looked at me, talked some shit, and then she looked at my profile and was like, "Oh, you're registered as a student. We don't allow students." And I was like, "What?" Yeah. It was just her excuse to tell me to fuck off.
Why didn't they want to let you in?
I don't know, because the thing is, I was already in there, but they gave me Daniel Wheeler's pass. And then when I was there and I was looking, I was like, "Oh wait, I'm not Daniel Wheeler. I'm Kenneth Wheeler." I go to turn it in, and I was like, "Hey, can I get this?" And they're like, "Okay, 1 minute." And then like some lady, it wasn't even anybody associated with the cybersecurity summit. It was just some lady who worked at the hotel it was at.
Right.
And so she made the decision. And I was like, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to deal with this shit." And I left.
What was the name of the summit? Like, what was
that? Cybersecurity summit. I can. It was just
local, I'm assuming, or
yeah. Let me go to Google Calendar. Should have it. But anyways, yeah, it was just I can't. It was just a cybersecurity summit with a whole bunch of vendors and free swag. And I spoke to like 2 people, asked if they were hiring, and they're like, "Oh, go to our site." And I even told them, I was like, I thought this was a school event, so I didn't dress too nice because I was wearing a shirt and shorts. And like, "Oh, dude, you're dressed perfectly, dude. Grab some free swag." And then when I realized that the name tag was wrong and go get a new one, that's when I got booted. Or that's when they told me no students allowed. And I just looked at her and I was like, "Have a beautiful day," and I left.
Sure, fair enough.
Yeah.
were you able to register because you were taking this course to get the certificate? Like, was that what that was about?
No, I first registered through Meetup.
Oh.
Yeah, so I used to go to Secure Set Cyber Academy, which is now Flatiron. Going to the Colorado Security Alliance, which is CSA. They're like, hey, you know, we have this huge thing going on. If any of y'all are looking for a job, this is the spot to go to.
Yeah.
So I got on my phone and click, and I did what I could, and then just some lady at the hotel just kind of looked me up and down, and then like whispered to someone else something and looked back over at me. Then she came up and she was like, oh, well, you're registered as a student and this isn't for students. And I was like, whatever. I didn't want to like push the point of saying everybody inside knows I'm a student. I was already inside.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you like knew the people at the summit?
I've met them before at other ones. So I went because they have those recruitment people, you know, and they're always at that table. So, you know, I spoke to some of them. Say, you guys hiring for this? You guys for hiring for that? Oh, you got to check our email or our website. And I was like, all right.
Nice. Okay. Cool, man. Well, that's a shame you got kicked out, but yeah, I think it would have been interesting. Okay. Well, so how things been going with the whole legal situation? I'm assuming it's just on pause, not really much.
I got switched over to a different court. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No.
1H, which is if people are found incompetent to proceed 2 or more times, they get sent to a different court.
Oh.
And so I'm in a different courtroom. It is kind of on pause and all that. I've been doing my restoration classes with Brooke. Those were normally on a Monday. Now they're on a Tuesday in a group. And so I attend those. You know, how should I say this? When the whole thing with the Uvalde Robb Elementary School happened, I quit listening to heavy metal and Rage Against the Machine and bands like that. And I was looking online about some stuff about how, because I was really angry and depressed about all that. But one of the things I saw was this lady, she was talking about how heavy metal doesn't make people violent and it doesn't encourage violent tendencies, and that there are some studies that people who listen to heavy metal are less violent, and it relieves stress and or cortisone levels or whatever the fancy word is.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've been trying to get my thinking happier and better. It's more brighter outside. I can go out and move now. I'm not stuck in a chair. I'm not stuck. Because honestly, for like 2 months, I couldn't move. I had to have my foot up. I had to bathe awkwardly. I had to use my stool. I have a little footstool that I had to use in the shower to sit down because I couldn't stand. So just recently today, or actually yesterday, I just decided to listen to some Rage Against the Machine on Pandora. And today, while trying to jog, because I couldn't jog that well because my side still hurts, my ankle's a little sore.
Of course.
I felt not as sad or as depressed. I felt better. You know, I felt more livelier. And so, yeah. I also, you know, I've been going out, doing what I can to go outside and be more active and just breathing fresh air and not being stuck here.
Yeah. Good.
I did take some, I ate a small cap of a mushroom, a psychedelic hallucinogenic one, but not to hallucinate. I've had this conversation with people before about, I call it a pharmaceutical dose, a very small dose where I'm not feeling any major effects. So I'm not hallucinating. I'm not wigging out on a body high. I don't lose any of my hand-eye coordination or muscle dexterity. But it just helped me, like, it felt like I was breathing easier, like almost like a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Because I got real just, I don't know how else to say it. I sent an application to Bancroft. I got no response. I called them, left a message, got no response. And Bancroft is an American PMC, an American private military corporation.
Oh, okay.
So I found what I think is the number to Wagner Group, the Russian military one.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And, I had one lawyer, Clark Kent Cooper, and he told me that if I went and did the 6 months for Wagner, I could go get a better life and all that. I brought that up to the judge a while back, and, the judge was like, yeah, he should have never said that. That's inappropriate. And then I don't know if I think I did. The FBI woke me up one day saying that there's so many reports that I'm recruiting for Wagner. And I'm not. But to the best of my knowledge, on the internet, I came across 2 separate numbers, but I've yet to even call them or try to find them or look into it.
Yeah.
But the internet basically said, yeah, those are the numbers on, I think, Telegram or WhatsApp. And other people were like, some lawyer, right after I broke my ankle, some dude came to pick me up, and he was dropping he had a friend with him who was a lawyer, one of the activist lawyers. And he even mentioned, he's like, hey, Kenneth, are you going to apply to Wagner? And I was like, no, but I think I have their number. And he's like, those numbers you have are their number. And I was like, oh.
Shit.
Yeah. So, I don't know what to say about that, and everybody keeps talking, not everybody, but there are still people in reality who tell me, well, go to Wagner Group, and it is at the very least semi-depressing and anxiety and paranoia when people are telling me that the only chance I'm going to have at a real life is to leave this country and go be a mercenary.
Yeah, seriously.
But, while in this country, I'm still doing what I can. I pay my bills. I go to work. I brush my teeth. I bathe, and do all that stuff.
Taking care of your daily living stuff.
Yeah, being a responsible adult.
Yeah. You got a job. You're going to that regularly. Okay.
And I'll be honest. I'm always been worried about my future. Even now, more now than ever. I'm 43. I don't have what people would call a solid career, a stable background, or a stable future, or a stable housing. I technically have stable housing-ish. I see it that way. Yeah. At any given time, anything can occur, and then I lose it all.
Yeah.
And that is very worrisome, especially nowadays, And so I have to think about that, and I think, well, if I lose anything, what can I go from there? So, that Wagner Group, that the more and more people talk about it, the more and more it seems like a viable option. So while in Italy, I went to a couple of embassies to try to get political asylum, refugee asylum. And the only one who actually gave me an appointment was the Belarusian embassy. And then they told me there's nothing we can do for you. And they said that when I asked, you got any advice? They said, go to a different embassy.
Right.
While doing all that, I found out the proper legal process to get into Russia. So you got to have a letter of invitation. So I was able to take a picture of this list of people that you just got to contact them on WhatsApp. You got to send them, I think it's like 30 euros or $30. And they're basically travel agencies in Russia, and they'll give you a letter of invitation. To get a visa, you have to have a letter of invitation. So then you take the letter of invitation to the Russian embassy with your passport, and they will laminate in a multi-entry visa good for 3 years, and that costs like I think $150. So that would be the proper legal process of getting into Russia from somewhere like America. If I were to enter in through, because I thought about it when I was in Italy and I looked it up, taking a train from Italy to Belarus and then going into from Belarus into Mother Russia.
Right.
But my dumb ass didn't do that because I thought, you know, the Belarusian embassy gave me an appointment. They're really going to give me a chance. But then they said no.
Right. Then they said no. Okay.
So
and then you kind of lost to go to Belarus. Yeah,
well, I was leaving like the next Monday later, and that was Thursday afternoon. And so if I didn't go that route, I would have gone straight on that train to Belarus and tried to get into Russia.
Yeah.
And with time to spare, if Russia said no, I can hop back on a train and get back to Rome, Italy to catch my flight.
Makes sense. Because it was what we talked about this last time, like, right? It was in Italy when you were trying to meet up with the Pope as well, right?
To get asylum from the Vatican and with the Pope. And you know, when I was talking with the cardinal, I told the cardinal, I was like, hey, getting the cold shoulder from the Pope is actually kind of making things worse. And the cardinal's like, no, it's not, Kenneth. But the Swiss Guard and the Italian military who were right there outside that gate when I was talking to the cardinal were like, yeah, it does. And the Swiss Guard and the military was like, you're saying that he knew the Pope before he became Pope. He used to drink with the guy who's now Pope, and you even called him drinking buddies. But the Pope's giving him the cold shoulder, so that's telling us that the Pope doesn't like him, and we can disrespect him and talk shit to him.
Yeah, that's it. See, because you were never able to establish contact with the Vatican, right?
Well,
except that.
Just talking to a couple of cardinals.
Cardinals, okay. Were they just out? So I don't remember that part. Were they just like outside, or?
Some were.
Okay.
So when I was talking to the Swiss Guard, some cardinals actually came out and spoke to me. Especially when I was talking to some dude in the military, and I was like, hey, if you went and write history, how do you write history? And then the dude in the military was like, if you went and write history, how do you write history? And the cardinal was like, Kenneth, tell him, dude, tell him how you would write history. And I told him, I was like, oh, okay, here's my rendition of history.
Yeah.
In the beginning, there was darkness. God commanded light to exist. Reality obeyed, light existed. Then I placed my life upon the illuminated altar of obedience to spread the light of Christianity. And when I said that, I stuck my chin up and my chest out. And then I noticed that all the military personnel, they were staring over here behind me. And I looked behind me, and the cardinal, he does the same thing. He sticks his chin up and his chest out, and he's staring at me. And I was like, yeah. And so the military looked at the cardinal and was like, did you know he was going to say that? And he's like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. We all know Kenneth says that. But, you know, that's, when I got back, I thought I was probably going to be a little more agitated and like holding more signs that, like, I thought about just holding a sign that said, let's go to war with Italy, fuck Italy. But at the same time, yeah, because, you know, I was told them two things they don't like, American and blue eyes. And one dude told me, he's like, well, we can let one slide or the other, but we can't let both. And I was like, why do you guys hate Americans? We fund your military. And they're like, oh, well, we're xenophobic and we want to go to fascist. And then when I was talking shit to the military, I was like, when was the last time you guys won a war? And they're like, oh, yeah, you're an American. When was the last time you guys won a war? And I was like, against you guys? And that really pissed them off.
I bet it did, yeah.
But, you know, I'm just thinking about the proper steps of having a better future. So I have like some money saved up, maybe $400, $500. I don't know exactly. And so I was thinking, I was like, well, I gotta contact those people. So later today, I'm going to go through WhatsApp and send some WhatsApp things of saying, hey, I need the letter of invitation. How much I heard it was $30. Can you do it? And just tell them I'm an American, this, and this, and just go through the proper steps. So hopefully within a week, hopefully by Wednesday, I will have an official letter of invitation. I get that, and then I go online and I schedule an appointment with the Russian embassy in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
So then I will go to the Russian embassy in Washington, D.C., and with my letter of invitation and my passport, and pay the less than $200 to get the travel visa, and then go from there.
Okay. Okay. So that's hopefully happening pretty imminently then. Yeah.
I'm hoping by the 4th of July, I will be in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, on 4/20, I did smoke marijuana and drink alcohol, and then afterwards, I quit. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate you doing that. Yeah.
And I don't understand why, but a lot of people think that I'm plotting some type of evil shit if I'm not drinking alcohol or smoking marijuana.
Who thinks that?
Lots of people. I mean, like
friends of yours?
I really don't have too many friends. And, well, here's the thing. I say I don't have friends. I say there are people who know my name, people whose name I know, and enemies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there are people who know my name who think that if I'm not drinking and smoking and out there partying, that I'm hiding in here building bombs and shit. And I'm like, fuck no, dude. That's not who I am. I'm more the type of person to like hold a sign in somebody's face or outside of a building. I think it was second day of Rockies opening day. I was out there with a sign that said living wage $93 an hour. And even people mentioned about how like last time, the year before, I had some fucked up signs saying that I support World War III, I support Mother Russia, fuck Ukraine, stuff like that.
Sure.
And, this time, I don't have that fucked up sign. And some people ask, like, what happened that caused you from going to have signs that would say, like, fuck the government, happy fuck you pig day, $50 an hour minimum wage, to those fucked up signs that I had? And I was like, oh, it's all that shit talk I get from the government, Like with one judge pointing a gun at me, telling me that the death of American school children is his job security, and calling me names based upon my eye color, calling me a fag, calling me a blue-eyed nigger, a blue-eyed demon, all those things really, really agitates me. So, I just went out there with signs to bring awareness of how people, or not people, how the government is treating me and targeting me. And coming back from Italy, I thought about that a lot because I really thought it was a dirty fucking setup. I don't know how else to say that. When the Italian military came up to me and said, they said you didn't get permission to come to this country. And I was like, why would I need permission if nobody knows me? And then the people in the military looked at each other and like, yeah, that's a really good point. And then I brought up, I was like, well, I was pre-authorized for a debit card through your embassy in Washington, D.C. with emails. And they're like, oh. And when I went to a bank and I gave them my passport, and I was like, hey, they're like, you can't just come in here and get a bank account. I was like, well, I'm pre-authorized by your embassy before I came here. And this lady in the bank, she just started talking shit about my eye color and being an American.
Jeez.
And so this other dude was like, who was outside, was like, hey, this dude says he got pre-authorized, run his passport. I want to know if he's really pre-authorized. So the bank manager is like, sure, I'll check. And they go and they check, and the dude comes back. He's like, you are pre-authorized, but we're not going to let you in. And I was like, oh, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I just continued on my way to the Belarusian embassy to go get the appointment.
Yeah, the whole work on that. Damn, man. Yeah, no, and then you come back to America, and then you break your ankle.
Yes.
So that's just, yeah, there's been a lot going on for sure. Yeah.
And, it's, yeah, so personally me, I feel I'm getting, how should I say, better-ish when it comes to the paranoia, depression, anxiety, PTSD stuff. Being able to go outside in the warmth and not being stuck inside in the cold or with a broken ankle.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, because you've been still the same group with incident. Is it Well Power?
Yes, sir. If it's still called Well Power, they change their names sometimes, but I think it is still Well Power.
Okay. Have they, at least last time, this was a while ago, I mean, they were talking about medication services and anything like that. Are they like trying to give you that?
Those are offered, but I'm very scared and standoffish about that. Oh, that's why I sent you the email about the Parkinson's and the Alzheimer's.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I remember that. I didn't respond.
So I spoke to Brooke about that before, and I've even spoke to the judge, a different judge in the past. And I said that, if there's so many issues concerning my brain chemistry or my brain health, that would be the Alzheimer's. And I believe that from brain to body, to make sure that's legit, that's the Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And I was in Metropolitan Detention Center, Los Angeles, on my federal case in 2012. And I had to have a mental health competency evaluation because I kept telling everybody in the government that some dude named James Holmes is plotting on committing a massacre at the Century 16 movie theater in Aurora, Colorado.
Right.
And they told me that if that was true, I should be competent enough to use that in a plea bargain deal. And I told them, are you fucking kidding me? That's disgusting. Who in their right mind would do that as a person? Because if you see something, say something. If you know of something or if you come across something of like that, you report it no matter what. You don't try to hold on to it for like $50 or for a lenient sentence.
Yeah.
And when I was talking with the mental health person there, she told me that Parkinson's and Alzheimer's medicine would be a very, very good thing for me. She said that repeatedly, but she said that we don't like you, we're not going to give it to you. And I was like, wow, that's a real piece of shit move. And she's like, well, we're the government. What do you expect?
Wow.
And so
the mental health people at, I'm sorry, where? This is
Metropolitan Detention Center, Los Angeles.
Okay.
And that was 2012.
Okay, so this is a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because that was the Aurora, Colorado. Yeah, sorry, I got a little confused. Okay.
And so, so at that time, repeatedly throughout my incarceration, it was even mentioned by the nurses and the doctors. And I was like, well, then how do I get it? And they were like, we're just not going to give it to you. We don't care. And so I spoke to the judge, and the judge thought that would be a good idea. And I was like, well, how do I go about getting that? And she's like, I'm just a judge, Mr. Wheeler. You have to figure that out on your own.
Right. Okay.
So how would I go?
I asked I know you said you brought up the Brooke already, but I mean, I'm also not a provider of medications.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to know. I would imagine the people at Well Power would be the best people to talk to. I know they're already providing you some other kind of meds that you don't want to take, but at least they know about medication, so maybe they can help a little bit. That's about all I got, unfortunately. Yeah. Especially since I'm not based in Colorado. I think I mentioned before, I'm technically based in Missouri, so I know even less about your local options. If you're in Missouri, maybe I can help you out, but I don't think so.
I will pursue that with Brooke. I'll send her an email after this saying, do you know who I could talk to about getting a prescription of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's?
Yeah, I'd imagine someone at Well Power would know a little more than me, at least. But that is just a guess. So I'm sorry that doesn't go anywhere.
All good.
On the note of Brooke and stuff, I know, we've met a lot and some of this is just repetition of it, but it's the point. This is all about the competency things, etc. So I guess just to sort of check in on things, let's say hypothetically, tomorrow you were found competent to proceed and this is now all behind you. How would you want to handle your actual legal case against you? Like, what would you want to do?
Up to me?
Obviously, maybe things won't work out, but yeah, if it was up to you, what would you want to do?
Well, okay, so technically I have two legal cases. I have one from the George Floyd protest, which was originally a curfew violation. They dropped the curfew violation, and then they charged me with a whole bunch of felonies for assault on an officer.
Okay.
And then the shooting at the Table Mesa King Supers happened. Then they dropped all those charges and then recharged me with misdemeanors. So still to this day, I've not gotten a full discovery. I asked for the body camera footage, but then the DA says, oh, this page of the discovery says there's no body camera footage. Then when I brought up the fact that lawyers who were representing other people who got arrested in the George Floyd protest, they got body camera footage. And when I brought that up to the judge is like, yes, we know that, Mr. Wheeler. And I was like, so how can they say there's no body camera footage when in my case, but there's body camera footage in other people's cases? And they're like, well, that's for your lawyer to handle. And I was like, bullshit, you guys give me a piece of shit public defender. And I brought up the fact that I was not in the scuffle with the cop. So I told the judge, I was like, hey, there was a plainclothes police officer getting into it with another uniformed officer. It was the plainclothes police officer who was drunk and rowdy that caused the other officer, the uniformed officer, the alleged victim, whatever his name is, I don't even remember, to break his ankle. All right. And then that same cop who broke his ankle pointed a fucking gun at me during my fucking physical therapy, because we had physical therapy on the same fucking day.
Wait, for the broken ankle, like just recently?
No. His for his broken ankle, me for my wrist when my wrist got slit when people tried killing me. And I even brought that up to the judge. I was like, well, I don't understand how you guys can go this route. My wrist was slit, and I used use of deadly force. I killed at least 3 people, but the feds decided not to prosecute me for self-defense because I was brought before a grand jury.
Okay, that was that same day?
That was like within the same week.
Okay.
So it happened on a Sunday. I think it was June 21st, 2020 Sunday is when I got my wrist slit open and I got ran over. And I used my pocket knives to get people, and I got at least one person solid in the throat. I felt real good about getting that motherfucker. But and like I even admit, like his daughter was there, and I beat her and did what I could to smear her face on the fucking concrete. And like in the hospital, when I woke up, the doctors were real rude and mean to me. Like, oh, one even asked me this exact thing, Kenneth, why did I save your life? And the doc kept saying, you need to give me an answer for that. And then later on, I had an answer, and I was like, hey, I got an answer. Where's the doc? And the doctor comes in. He's like, Kenneth, why did I save your life? And I looked at him and I said, ask the girl who slit my wrist. Right? Like what the fuck is going on? Because he thought that I was immediately going to be arrested. He's like, Kenneth, the police are out here. You kill people, you're going to be arrested. And I was like, well, I remember getting this motherfucker. I remember getting this motherfucker. Then I remember getting up and beating down his fucking daughter and getting her too. And he's like, you just confessed to all that. And I was like, self-defense, bro. Don't bring your kids to a war zone. Right? And so they actually kicked me out of the hospital that same day. Got ran over 5 times, got my wrist slit, had to get 4-hour surgery, had to have, who knows how much blood they had to give me. I can't remember because I lost so much blood. And I was supposed to stay in there for another day or two, but they were just like, oh, fuck you, kick rocks. Because I wasn't being arrested. Because even the police said, no, the feds come in and say, we can't arrest him. They took the Halo camera footage. And then when I got out, I contacted the police to see if I could get the Halo camera footage. And they said, no, we can't allow you to have that. And I was like, whatever. And so that all just got dropped. All right. And then my, months later, I don't remember when, what do you call that? George Floyd curfew violation got dropped. And then they charged me with the cops broke. So they had months to doctor, alter evidence and present fake, false reports of whatever they needed to say, oh, I'm responsible for that pig breaking his ankle.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm not. That was a plainclothes police officer. I was actually in it with other officers.
Yeah.
And so who knows where that's going to go, because it's basically going to be my word versus their word. And if it does go even close to trial, I'm going to send emails to whitehouse.gov, cia.gov, tips.fbi.gov. I do that often. And say, hey, I, as an intelligence officer, am ordering these people to be disarmed, discharged, and garnished, and sent to Yemen.
Gotcha.
And on occasion, I've gotten people disarmed, discharged. So once that happens, their life is over. It's a life of minimum wage. They can no longer have guns. They can no longer vote. They can no longer work for the government. So as for the felony case that got switched to the different court, if all else fails, the same. But the thing is, in that video, it shows me being attacked. So I still don't understand how I'm even being charged with a crime. And when I told that cop to drop his gun and put it away, he disobeyed me. And as an intelligence officer, that's belligerent combatancy. That authorizes summary execution. You know, so how can I not recognize the law of Gang Colors Act, RICO Act, aid and comfort to the enemy, 2 or more is a conspiracy, twice or more is a pattern of abuse, you know, because that dude hit me in the chest twice. Or as they say, we just pushed him, but that's still physical contact that caused me pain. So that's still assault. So assaulting me twice is a pattern of abuse. Then the pig comes up and assaults me. And so the way I'm looking at it is the Posse Comedicus Act says we're not even allowed to have police. We got to have federal troops indefinitely. And, you know, I think it's time almost for like a civil war. 43 stars of white upon the blue of night, 13 stripes, 7 red, 6 white, you know, and, yeah, and the fact that they attacked me for being blue-eyed, and they just get off with it, dude. And it's so infuriating. Where I'm like, hey, you want to know what? Just send me to some other country, and I'll wear a uniform and come against this one if that's what it takes.
Right. And because coming back to the whole Wagner Group thing.
Yeah, which they keep bringing up.
They keep doing that.
Yeah, they're telling me that if I want a real life, like even the Judge Adam Espinoza was like, yeah, the only chance you're going to have a real life, Mr. Wheeler, if you go to Wagner Group. You're blue-eyed. I hate blue eyes. He even told me he sends blue-eyed people to prison, non-blue eyes to probation. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so personally, me, if I have to go to trial, I think my trial should be in the federal court. It should either be in Washington, D.C. or in Texas.
Yeah, it needs to be bigger than this.
Yeah, well, not only that, there's so many conflicts of interest with the judges and everyone here, and the fact that the public defenders, they're not doing due diligence for the due process. Because due diligence, they would have to motion to the court for dismissal of charges based upon my qualified immunity as an intelligence officer. You know, and they should at least motion to the court for the arrest of the officers for belligerent combatancy and disobeying me. And still to this day, well, one judge, I think it was Judge Spahn, she did say, well, Mr. Wheeler, we do know you're an intelligence officer. But the thing is, a lawyer who's no longer my lawyer once asked, well, you have no proof that you're an intelligence officer. And I was like, well, I do not have the burden of proof, and it's not my job to commit the due diligence. It's your job. You have to contact the Department of Defense. You have to contact the Central Intelligence Agency or the National Reconnaissance Office. It's not my job to do your job for you. And these lawyers keep saying, well, we're not going to do that. Well, then I'm currently suffering ineffective assistance of counsel, and I cannot proceed forward.
I mean, yeah, I follow you. I hear you, man.
And so, if I could get it in writing, because I even had my my IDs over there, and I showed the judge. I was like, Your Honor, that's my picture. This is my legal name, my legal birth date, my legal address. This is a real state ID. And then on the back, I was like, you see this writing right here? It says, this is an identification card, not a driver's license. You see all this open space? In this open space, you can also put, this person has no association to the Constitution of the United States. This person is not an intelligence officer. If I'm not any of those things, why is it I cannot get it in writing? Other people have gotten stuff like that when they've been charged with crimes and claimed stuff. But for some odd reason, I'm just on the back burner being told, oh, go fuck yourself. We don't have to do shit. And that's where I'm like, wow, I fought on the wrong side, and fuck this, let's rampage World War III and a civil war.
Yeah. Shit, man. Okay. No, I mean, yeah, you told me some of stuff before. Other than that, though, like, no, like, you're in a real situation, you're going through a lot, and yeah, I guess all I can say is just good luck with the whole thing. Seriously. I'm glad to know that, you're doing more okay now in terms of just like your own like sort of like mental health, right? In terms of like going outside, trying to, because I believe I get the depression when you're like physically disabled kind of for a minute, right? Like with the shoulder, it was rough. So I'm glad you're still getting outside, taking care of yourself as you can. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I still have, I still do hand exercises, just not as long. I'm a lefty. I used to be a lefty. I can open and I can close. I can't draw, I can't paint, I can't play the violin properly like I used to. So there's that constant depression and fear. I'm constantly in fear when I'm surrounded by people, because they constantly like, oh, he's being charged. They'll find out, oh, you're being charged with a crime. We can attack you and get away with it, and we're not going to get in trouble because it's our word versus yours. And I'm like, oh man. And I tell people, I was like, dude, if I had a squad of like 300,000 aggro fag Marines, I could just like, yeah, get them, and I wouldn't have to be worried no more.
Yeah. Sure. Well, I mean, I hope it all keeps, going up a little bit for you. The weather's going to stay, bright and sunny, hopefully for the summer, at least until winter comes back around. But yeah, no, I think that's pretty much all we need to do today. I appreciate you with me again. Always a pleasure. And,
thank you.
Good luck with the Alzheimer's meds thing. Sorry, I couldn't really help with that.
All righty. Yeah, that was about to be my main question right there. Just
sorry, I got nothing for you, really.
Contact Brooke and send her an email and ask about that.
Yeah, I think it's because at least WellPower is a facility that prescribes. So I think that's, something that you can start with. I can't prescribe medication anyway, so it barely matters what I think. But all right, man. Well, it's good to see you again. I appreciate it. Yeah, hope you have a good day.
Be safe.
See you,
man. Click there. Click there. University of Colorado, Denver, Auschwitz Medical Campus. I already did that. Oh, wow. Look at this. Oh, fucking that. Live chat here. Eddie M. What up, Kenny? The Ickerly 666. Kenny, how many times have you been arrested? Too many. Whoa, you off, dudes? Yeah. Dude. And that's another thing, if I didn't kill people, can I get that in writing? Why is it that I cannot get the police report of what happened, or any of the statements of what happened? because those statements have people claiming that I used use of deadly force, executed, smoke, whatever you want to say. Obviously not murder. Murder is a crime. Self-defense is not a crime. Defending the Constitution is patriotism. So, yeah, I can't, when it comes to that, never once have I gotten a police report. I've brought it up to the judge numerous times. And, oh, dude, so when I was initially charged with a felony assault on an officer causing bodily injury, all those charges got dropped because I wanted to represent myself. And the judge said I had to come into the office, or not the office, come into the courtroom to an a pro se advisement, and I had to be there. And I was wearing my white privilege t-shirt, all right? I walked in wearing my white privilege t-shirt, sat there and told the judge that I understood that I would be representing myself. And I even told the judge, I was like, well, this guy's not even going for the body camera footage, so obviously I have to motion for that. And he's like, yeah, and if you motion for it, you'll get it, Mr. Wheeler. So then, when they're like, all right, well, Mr. Wheeler, before you leave, the DA needs to speak with you. I go speak with the DA. And the DA starts telling me that they know that there's some sand nigger in Boulder County who's going to shoot up the Table Mesa Kings Supers, and the date and time. And that if I go there to try to stop it, whether or not I stop it, I will still be framed for it. And that they already have dozens upon dozens upon dozens of false reports that they've accepted and validated and verified to prosecute me as an accomplice and suspected shooter. So when that happened, every cop knew about it. So you had the quickest, what they said, they had the quickest multi-jurisdictional response. That people from Jeffco, which is Golden in eastern Denver, Jefferson County, Aurora County, Denver County, Golden Police, Denver Police, Aurora Police, Boulder County Police, Boulder County Sheriffs, and all them, they showed up in a quick, amazing response because they knew it was already going to happen. All right? And they're all loud and proud about it. And then in one of their spokesperson's response, some lady was talking about how they have a person of interest, this guy. And then the federal government came up and pushed her to the side and said, no, that is not a person of interest. That person was at home restreaming this other person's live stream. And we've already verified as the federal government that Kenneth Wheeler, this person, does not have anything to do with this mass shooting. And the, and the spokesperson for the law enforcement, they got all pissy with each other, all right? And so then after that, my charges got dropped. It was supposed to be dismissed without them bringing it back up. So, and they said it was that order of the president, President Biden, the same motherfucker who said that he's going to send me to North Korea. Remember when he got elected? I called the White House, said my toothbrush is packed. I'm ready to go. Yeah. But never got sent to North Korea. Yeah. Anyways, so then the charges get dropped, and then like a month or two later, they get refiled as misdemeanors. And then now all the dates and everything change. People who gave reports, those reports were now the day of or the night or the day after the night of the George Floyd protest instead of weeks after, okay? And now the discovery says there's no body camera footage when the discovery used to say there was body camera footage. All right? So, yeah, it is just such a fucking shit stain of them being able to just rewrite history without an open repository of record, and for them just to, what would you call that? Lie, alter evidence, tamper evidence, destroy evidence, plant evidence, witness testimonies, witness statements, and all this fucking bullshit. you know? And I'm still wondering about so much stuff because there's a lot of stuff I didn't talk about, like, oh, I met this imaginary that only I can see and other people could hear. It was this dude who I smote, or as somebody else would say, killed, executed, neutralized, alleviated concern. It was this dude in this one spot, and there's this restaurant on this patio. And in 2012, we got into it, and I crushed his fucking face out, dude, and walked on my way. That dude came back as an imaginary in that same spot and told me that, hey, this is a fucking setup. You're going to break your ankle at the If Denver event. Yeah, an imaginary told me I'd break my ankle. But the imaginary also told me that I would fall into some money and told me some other stuff that I'm not ready to talk about yet, or at least I'm waiting for it to happen before I talk about it. And that deals with some war stuff and some activities that pop off war. And yeah, so that happened, right? So my ankle did get broke. I'm still waiting on whether or not I fall into some money or not. And hopefully I do, because, I'll do what I can to get the travel visa, which I got to do today. And also the hairline, going to Turkey and getting a new hairline for $5,000. And going from there. There's so much on my mind. And when I was in Italy, like, I'm wondering because so many live streams got taken down because I got in so many fights, And I'm like, what the fuck is really going on? And like, did their prime minister really go missing? Right? But nobody's ever going to admit that a world leader or a country leader went missing, got sent to Yemen, and her teeth got sent back, who's going to admit that I was talking to the defense minister, right? I was there talking to the defense minister, and but who's going to admit to that? Right? Who's going to claim, oh yeah, you were there, you were talking to the defense minister, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. To me, Italy was just such a fucking dirty setup, over and over and over. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, wow, what the fuck is this? So we have to prepare some letters for the good old-fashioned CIA.gov, tips.fbi.gov, whitehouse.gov, and go from there. I have no fucking clue what to do. But, yeah, and just go from there. Like when I was asked, well, what happens next? I was like, well, I still need motions for, qualified immunity as an intelligence officer. Everything else. And if the fallout fails, boom, 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 just start sending emails. Tell them to discharge garnish these people, send them to Yemen, get rid of these motherfuckers, do this, do this, do this, because, yeah, I don't want to play around with these Confederates no more. I'd rather be in a real war, or they be put to a real war more than me, because I feel like I'm constantly in a real war every fucking day, dude. I don't even know what to fucking say about that. But yeah, no clue what the fuck to do. It's 82 degrees out. This is what it says. What is the temperature outside?
It's 82 degrees in Denver right now.
It's 82 degrees in Denver right now. Humidity 13%, precipitation 0, wind 7 miles, air quality good. All right, what else? Oh my God. That was a great conversation, Kenny. Were you part of the MK Ultra program? I guess. I'm brainwashed. How the fuck would I know? Yeah, dude. Yeah, so how would I go about motioning to the court for my military record, right? I don't know what to say. Yep. So, let's go here. Let's go here. We'll go to compose. Yeah, so I got to send this, we'll say, medication request. And then just, yeah, so hey guys, I think I'm going to call this. I got to send these emails. I got to WhatsApp some motherfuckers and go from there. Yeah. Alrighty, everybody in YouTube land, stay warm if you need to stay warm, stay cool if you need to stay cool, stay healthy, stay safe, stay sober if you're choosing sobriety. Peace. Love you. And broadcast click. And broadcast click.